In view of the present housing shortage, I've decided to tear down the building on West 13th Street and,
I have that.
Oh, yes. And, put up an apartment building. Get me an estimate for a 9-story structure of 5-room apartments. Very truly yours.
What about this Brown and Company letter?
What?
This one.
Oh. Well, we'll close that deal. Send them a check for $240,000.
To be charged to the estate?
No, to my personal account.
And these?
Well, say, don't you think it's too nice a day to work?
Well, it is a beautiful day. Will,
Joan.
But please.
Oh, Joan, Oh, Joan, darling. Joan, you're the sweetest girl in the world. Oh, you do love me a little, don't you?
Oh, I do. So much. Do you love me?
Yes, darling.
Oh, say it again. I want to hear you say it.
I worship you. I adore you. I've adored you for 6 months, dear. I didn't know it until just a little while ago. Gee, I thought I was going nutty or something on the level I did.
Oh, really?
Yes. Listen, darling, when will you marry me?
Whenever you like.
Next week.
Oh, I couldn't possibly.
Oh, why not?
Oh.
Joan, what's the matter? Joan, dear, what's the matter? Joan, dear, what is it? What is it, dear?
I wondered if you thought of my family.
Oh, well, I admit I haven't thought very much about them, darling. But just the fact that they are your family makes them all right with me.
But I'm wondering if you'll be all right with them.
What? Well, Oh, but what's all that got to do with us, dear? Do you love me? That's the question.
Oh, you know, I've always loathed girls who marry their employers.
Oh, rubbish, darling, rubbish. Now, listen. You get your hat, and we're going to make a beeline out of here and go home, to your home, and break the news to them.
Oh, I'd much rather do it alone.
But, darling, I ought to be there to help you face the music.
Oh, but I can break the news much more easily if I'm
listen,
alone.
Sweetheart, they'll want to meet me.
I know they will, but don't you see if I go
Well,
first?
I ought...
That's what I told him, and he knew I was right. I don't suppose he'd ever read a book or a magazine more serious than the Saturday Evening Post. So I handed it to him straight. That's the kind of a man that becomes a sales manager, and I told him so in plain language.
your job, Henry? Huh?
No, I resigned. And I took advantage of the shed a little light on some of their rotten condition.
Too bad.
I think I'll get into the automobile industry. There's $6 billion invested in it in this country alone.
Really?
I ought to be able to wedge myself into that $6 billion somehow.
Sorry to be so late.
Hello, Joe.
What kept you, darling?
Doing a little bunch of overtime?
No.
I've kept your dinner warm.
Oh, don't bother about dinner, dear. I'll get it.
Oh, you eat your dinner. You must be tired. Oh, why should she be so tired? An office all to herself? She ought to pound away on a typewriter in a room with a mob the way I do.
Oh, cut it out.
Joan, you're breaking my heart.
Joan, dear, you look upset. Is anything wrong?
Why, no, Dad. No.
Eat your dinner, dear. It will rest you. Say, something's happened. Come on, spill it.
Well,
You haven't lost your position, dear.
oh, no, Dad. That isn't it. I've some news for you.
Yeah?
Well,
Well?
I'm
go on.
I'm going to be married.
Married, Joan. Married? To whom?
Mr. Van Luyn.
Oh, you...
The billionaire bird you're working for?
Your employer?
Yeah? Oh, whoopee! Oh, gee!
Why, Joan, dear, it's only yesterday you were a little girl, and now I...
Oh, Mother, dear.
I can't realize it.
Oh, Joan, it's so wonderful. Imagine having a Van Luyn in this family. And imagine little me, sister-in-law to William Van Luyn. Whoopee!
Hey, Helen, what are you getting all steamed up about? Money's nothing. It's character that counts.
Ah.
Just the same, boy. Money means a lot in the way of comfort and peace. Joan, dear. Joan, we are very happy for your sake, dear.
Did you notice when
I'm thinking.
But tell me, dear, is he everything we'd want him to be?
Oh, Dad, he's just perfect.
Yes, you'd think so, of course. Yes.
Not a word from you, Frankie.
Me, oh, I don't know, Joan. I suppose it's all right. These things are if they work out.
Well, that doesn't sound very enthusiastic.
Oh, I didn't mean that. It's just that...
Oh, but you'll all be enthusiastic when you meet him.
Sure.
And he's going to be here in just a little while.
Here?
Yeah.
Huh?
What? Coming to this dump?
Dump?
Well, I know, but Dad, a fellow like that used to butlers and antiques and period furniture and old masters and things.
We must clear away these dishes, dear. Helen, help me. And this place must be dusted and straightened
Oh,
out.
Mother, it would take a fire to straighten this apartment.
Oh, can that stuff, Helen? That's no way to talk.
Yeah.
It looks terrible.
That's why Van Luyn inherited all his junk. Uncle Phil at least earned all of this.
Pardon me.
Well, give me a break, will you? What's
Here, Helen, can you take care of
All
those?
right.
Why didn't you tell me sooner he was coming?
Well, I told you as soon as I could, dear, first opportunity I had.
What do I put on?
Why, put on...
Oh, I know. Oh, down, Henry. Don't get my
Be
foot like that.
yourself, will you? What's the idea?
I'll help you with the dishes.
Oh, no, dear, you'll get all hot.
I'll dry him for you, Alice.
Oh, my little baby girl. I do want you to be happy.
Oh, I know it, dear.
Of course.
Well, Joan, you certainly handed us the dramatic situation. King What's-His-Name and the beggar maid.
Why, Mr. Van Luyn is just as democratic as we are.
Sure he is. It's only men in his position that can be democratic. Oh, boy. What a lot of coin it's going to take to wipe out all this.
Wipe out what?
This, us. All the things you've been used to here at home.
No, Henry. That will never be wiped out.
Won't it? That'll be the first thing he'll do.
That must be Mr. Van Luyn now. Hello?
Oh, is this the prayer apartment?
Is that you, Will?
Yes, is that you, Joan?
Yes, dear. Come right up.
I'll be right up
Yes.
here. Come right up.
Here. Did I look all right? Oh, yes, dear. You look wonderful.
Go on, skip in for the welcome, Joe.
Oh, Mom will get it. She'll... Never mind.
Oh, Joan, don't you go to the door. Let me.
But Helen,
Yes,
I know...
I'll go. I'll talk
Helen,
to him.
I know him.
Yes, I know.
Him.
Well, I'll
Why
just
you
talk
have to
to
throw
him.
him under the...
How do you do? Have I the Thayer apartment?
Oh, yes. I'm Miss Thayer's little sister. Won't you come in?
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I'll tell Joan you're here. Won't you sit down?
Thank you. Little sister?
Oh.
Here we go.
Fine, dear. Get it straight. That's good.
There, that's better.
All right.
My dear, he's wonderful. He's adorable.
Oh, Amelia,
why, he's the darlingest thing I ever saw in my life. Oh, Mother, he's tall, and he's blonde.
Yes, dear.
Oh.
Perhaps I had better change my shirt.
Joan, darling. My, but it's good to see you again.
Well, are you ready?
Ready? Ready for what, dear?
Why, to meet the family.
Oh, of course, I forgot all about it.
Well, come on.
Shall we? All right. Are they expecting me?
I did say they are.
Say, Mama, don't you want to put on your black satin? You think
Suppose
I'd better?
you
Yes,
start
I would.
this junk, Helen. You're not going anyplace. What are you all dressed up about? Well, I know. Never mind.
Here we come.
Well, they're coming.
Oh, what did you want to bring him here for?
No.
I want you all to meet Will.
How do you do?
How do you do?
This is my mother.
Oh, it was so nice of you to let me come.
If we'd only known sooner.
Oh, that's
Excuse
all
me,
right.
dear. My dad.
Oh, how do you do, sir?
Well, I'm very glad.
Yes.
My brother, Frank.
Oh, how are you? How do you do? Well, I feel like a perfect idiot, you know.
Yes.
I'm sort of cold all over and my knees wobble. I don't know why they should, but they do.
Oh, my cousin Henry.
Yes, Henry.
Oh, yes.
Oh, so this is Cousin Henry. Well, how do you do? I'm glad to know you.
How are you? I can't afford a membership in any of your clubs, so I appreciate your informality.
Oh, Well, this sort of interview is rather painful for everyone, isn't it? I suppose it was rather sudden for you, but I'm sure you'll forgive us.
Of course.
Mr. Van Luyn, I wonder if you'd pardon a very personal question.
Why, certainly, why not?
How does it feel to be rich?
Feel? It doesn't feel.
What I mean is, how does it feel to know that you'll never have to worry about a bill? That you can buy and sell practically everybody you pass in the streets?
My good Lord, I don't know, old man.
I'll bet you do know. But perhaps your class consciousness won't let you admit it.
Oh, think so?
Well, of all...
Well, what I'm driving at is, whether you are democratic, or whether actually you feel a whole lot above, well, people like us.
Henry, don't you think we'd
It's
better
all right,
talk about
dear.
something?
It's all right.
Well, really, I don't know what this is all about.
Well, I'll try to make myself clear. There's a million things about the mass of the people that a fellow like you ought to know, and I suppose you never would know 'em if you didn't happen on a guy like me.
Oh, I've attended working men's meetings and all
That's
that.
exactly what I'm not talking about.
I beg your pardon?
I'm not talking about the working man, but the great middle class that goes to make up the country and that nobody outside of themselves ever hears of.
Well, maybe they never got themselves properly press agented.
It's Helen.
Now, you take us right here, for instance. We're just plain people. We get a few dollars ahead, and something happens and takes it away. And we start all over again. But we don't kick about it. We stick it through. And it's the sticking that shows the kind of stuff the plain, regular people are made of. Doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Those same regular people are the backbone of the...
Listen, old man. It's very interesting, but couldn't we talk about it some other time? I'd like to
but
get
I
acquainted
wanted
with the family. Come on, let's talk to the folks. Well, this is better, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Thayer, you're in hardware, I believe.
Yes, in hardware. I've been in hardware for...
Not now, dear. I'm sure Mr. Van Luyn
Oh, no,
and Joan
understood.
would like to talk. I have to straighten up in the kitchen, and Henry can help me. Oh, Henry, it's been so nice to get acquainted with you informally like this.
Yes,
I'd like to talk with you about hardware. if you're
yes,
ready.
well, I...
Come along, Father. Helen.
Well,
Oh, Henry.
goodbye. It's nice to have met you. Good night. Good night.
I wonder if you know just how glad I am for Joan. And I want to be the very best little sister to you.
Well, that's a help.
I do hope you'll like me a little.
Oh, can it, Helen?
Well, nighty-night.
Good night.
Here.
For the love of Pete, don't make so much no weed.
And just sit there and let me look at you. You're not too tired for that, are you?
Oh, I'm not tired at all.
You know, even now I can't believe that you're all mine, dear. Where will we go on our wedding trip?
Anywhere with you would be glorious.
Listen, I have it, dear. We'll go off in my yacht to Canada. Think of it, Joan. One more week and we'll be off by ourselves. Oh, you're going to love that boat as much as I do, Joan. And my old house, too. Oh, Gad, it'll be wonderful to have you where you belong. Where I can...
Where I belong?
Yes, dear. Out of all this, I mean.
Oh.
Why, Joan, dear, what's the matter?
I knew you'd despise it. And my family, too.
Why, nothing of the sort, darling. Oh, perfectly ripping your family. Why, that dear old dad of yours, and your mother as much so, or even more so.
But you can't help feeling superior to them all the same.
Oh, nonsense, dear.
Oh, of course you did. Anyone in your position would.
Well, I will admit that Henry was a bit irritating.
Oh, he has a good mind. All he needed was an education.
Yeah, well, he's all right, really, dear, and so is Frank.
Oh, Frank. Beaten already.
But...
Just another of the white-collar brigade.
Oh, no, he isn't, dear.
Oh, yes, he is.
Why, he's a fine young chap, darling.
I see it all, dear. Very clearly. We live in two different worlds. You were very sweet to them all today, but you did think Henry a bore.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't,
oh, yes,
Joan.
you did. And you thought Frank was a blank and Helen was vulgar.
Why, nothing of the sort, Joan. I thought she was a cute kid.
Even if I would pass, they, my family, oh, couldn't you see that hurt, frightened look on Mother and Dad's faces? They weren't thinking of all the money and what a wonderful position I was to marry into. They were thinking they had lost me.
Oh, honey, you're a dear, loyal kid. But I think you're overdoing it just a little bit. Now, listen, darling. The day we're married, I'll settle $1 million on you, and you can share the income with your family. Well, Joan, dear, what's the matter?
You see, Will, you don't understand.
Well,
Dad would never accept any money from you. I wouldn't even suggest it.
well, then I'll get him alone and talk to him.
Oh, Will, please. We aren't that sort.
Joan.
Well, dear, we're making a great mistake. This marriage is all wrong.
Did college educate all the brains out of Joan?
Of course not. What do you mean?
Was she dropped on her head when she was a baby?
Certainly not. What on earth are you talking about?
They're quarreling.
Quarrel?
Quarreling?
Yes, sir.
Well, let them quarrel. Let them have a good fight.
Well, I never heard of such a thing. The idea, the first night she brings, they start fighting.
Quarreling?
Well, it's none of your
Did she start it or
business.
did he?
Well, I don't know, but it doesn't matter who
Different
started
than
it.
me.
Doesn't make any difference. I
Sweethearts
don't
always
within my
quarrel.
Well, they shouldn't.
You're making so much of nothing, dear. Now, Joan, darling, I want you to listen to me just a minute. Look at me, dear. No matter how you look at it, in this country, it's money that makes the class, dear. But it's your family who are class conscious.
Oh, no, it isn't.
Yes, it is, darling.
Oh, Will. If I didn't love you so much, it would all be so easy. But now, it all seems so hopeless.
You mean you don't want me?
Oh, I do, dear, more than anything in the world. But when I think of your family, and of leaving my own, who've given up everything for me.
Joan, dear, let's let the future take care of itself. Come on now, darling. Next week we'll be married, and we'll be off on the most wonderful honeymoon in the world. Oh, come on now, darling. Don't you worry about it anymore. You let me take care of things, dear. Come on. Come on, darling. That's it. Nobody in the world will be as happy as we will be, darling. And don't you worry about things. I'll take care of everything.
I'm glad Will and Joan are not in the city in this heat.
Yeah.
The papers did make a great fuss over the wedding, didn't they, Father?
Yes. I wish things could have been a little more nearly equal. If only I could have done what I'd like to have done. Oh, but of course.
Oh, Henry. Henry,
Running?
your socks are all mended and ready for the trip.
Thanks, Aunt Alice.
Henry, I can't understand how they came to give you this important job in South America without a lot of investigation.
Oh, that's all done before they even approach a man.
Is it?
That fellow that offered me this job knew all about me.
Oh, hey, Henry.
What is it?
You want to take my picture with you to South America?
Sure. I'll wear it on my bureau next to my hairbrushes. What's the idea?
Oh, if you see any unmarried Brazilian cattle kings, you might show it to them.
Are you thinking of giving Tom Gibney his perfect half-carat ring back?
Oh, sure. If I could marry one of those Ramon Navarros. with 1,000,000 acres of cattle.
Helen, I wish you wouldn't talk like that.
Oh, well, why not? Sure, I was... There's my fiancé. I'll go.
I'll answer, Helen.
Oh, never mind. I'll get it.
Well, for the love of Pete.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Bill.
Glad to see you.
Well, look
What are you doing here, dear? Why, Will was called back suddenly for a lawsuit he had to be here for.
Oh,
You bet.
Oh, Billy.
Wow.
It's nice to surprise us like this.
Say, where can I put this freight?
Oh,
It's like right over there.
jump it any place.
All right, thanks.
Fun.
I wanted to come straight home for a visit.
Well, if Will can put up with things here.
Hello, Joan. How's the
Oh,
newlyweds?
we had a wonderful time.
Greetings, old dear.
Honey, I'd like
Glad to see you. Had a great time. Pretty hot here.
Oh,
Hi, it's good to see
wonderful
you.
to see you.
Well, Dad. Glad to see you. How are you?
Well, I'm fine.
Well, that's good.
Tell Bill the news about yourself, Henry.
Oh, yes. Henry's going away.
Oh, he's going away?
Yes, he's going away.
Yes, I'm sailing tomorrow, Bill. I'm being sent to South America.
No. Really?
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations, old man. That's wonderful. I'm tickled to death to hear
Well, there's
it.
nothing wonderful about it. Something like this was bound to happen sooner or later.
And now, dear, where are you planning to stay?
Why, we're planning to stay here for a while.
Here? In this flat? Of course. What for?
Now, dear, you know very well that my room is plenty big enough for two.
Well, I never heard of such a thing. Here you've married a man who can give you everything in the world.
Yes.
And you want to come back to... I never heard of such a thing.
Now, listen, dear.
I realize
You
that.
know, Bill, I'm sorry I'm going to South America. I'd like to stick around and civilize you. Make a regular guy out of you.
Well, now, Henry, don't you worry
Oh,
about
now,
me.
Bill,
I'll civilize
yeah,
myself.
but I get a
and-
great kick out of it. Bill.
I wonder if I could have a glass of water.
Well, you bet. Come on.
Sure,
Come on, right on top
There's a
of me.
million things I ought to wise you up on, and you ought to know about. You know, Bill, this great middle class.
I think Joan's crazy to bring that boy here.
Crazy?
In the
Why?
wide world.
And you just
Bill,
see how
what
beautiful
do you
it's going
think?
to work out.
Joan insists that she and Will are going to stay here.
Yeah?
You brought that billionaire here to live? Well, whose idea was that? Not his, I'll say.
It was our idea.
That means yours. You must have that boy hypnotized.
Joan, dear, is it that you're not happy? Is that it?
Of course, daughter. If it has turned out wrong.
Oh, no, Dad, that isn't it. Well, I'm so happy that it overwhelms me sometimes.
Well, what is it then, dear?
Well, that boy would buy out Fifth Avenue for you.
Yes, that's just it.
Huh?
Whenever a rich boy like Will marries a poor girl, he showers her with luxury, and everyone thinks that's what she married him for.
Uh-huh.
Then, when the novelty wears off, he begins to think so himself.
Can you beat it?
Now, listen, Helen. Would you want to be patronized and made presentable like a lot of poor relations?
Just lead me to it.
Oh, no. I want to be his partner, his mate. Not just a woman who runs his house and advertises his wealth.
Oh, applesauce.
Helen, Joan, dear, I wish you
well,
would
of
listen.
course, if you don't want us here.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, of course we want you, dear. You know best. I was only thinking of you.
well, I couldn't help but feel a little funny about it, Mother. I thought perhaps you
Joan,
didn't want us.
darling, why? Well, I thought maybe Will would be
Wait.
When you think, Bill, that you never earned a dollar of your money, you'll see what I mean. You'll see that
Poor
it's all
Will.
wrong.
He'll have to take a course in how to live with poor in-laws. And that includes Henry.
Helen.
You know, Bill, And Bill, you won't realize this. The great middle class is the backbone of this country.
Well, Henry, maybe you're right, but suppose we discuss it in here where the air is, huh?
Yeah, but Bill...
Warm.
Won't you sit there by the window?
Oh, yes. Take my seat, Will.
Oh, no, please, don't you folks bother about me at all. Maybe we could get a couple of fans attached here in the morning, huh?
Fans?
40 plunks. Just like that. Any little luxury. Why, boy, you can even afford to be sick.
Well, what's the connection?
I'll tell you. Just to show you the injustice. Now, well, take a millionaire's appendix, for instance. It goes wrong. What happens? They take him to the hospital, cut it out, charge him $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, and he never feels it.
He never feels it.
They pay in the bill, I mean.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah. Now, you take the working man. His appendix starts making trouble. They take him to the same hospital. The same doctor operates, never charges him 1 cent, so he doesn't feel it either, does he?
No.
But, get between them. If a middle-class appendix goes wrong, mine, for instance, I've got to come across with $500. And before I paid it, I'd gone without clothes and amusements and all but starved myself to death for months.
Yeah. Well, what's the answer? Let's have it.
The answer? I don't know.
Well, you see...
Only it isn't charity.
Yes, but Henry,
Bill,
you haven't...
I think a lot of you. But if my appendix started making trouble,
now, wait a minute, old man. If your appendix needed extracting and you refused to let me blow you to an operation, I'd be broken-hearted.
Now, that's all right. Look at all right, you can all laugh, but it isn't a joke.
Sort of...
Oh, that's the boyfriend. I'll go get my bag. Oh, Henry, you go to the door, will you?
Sure.
Henry, wait a minute. Let me get to the kitchen.
All right. Hello, Tom, old man. How are you?
Oh,
Come on, get in the bag.
Say, what do you bet I can't put you on the map, huh?
Hey, you crazy cow, you crazy Indian, quit it. Get it out there, you crazy Indian. Hey, look who's here. What's the idea? Huh? Come in. Will, this is Tom Gibney, your brother-in-law elect.
Oh.
Tom, this is Will Van Luyn, Joan's husband, the multimillionaire.
How do you do?
Oh, how are you?
Fine, thanks. Well, won't you have a smoke?
Oh, yeah.
Henry?
No, thank you. Well, as you are to be such close relations, I think I'll give you a chance to get acquainted.
Well... won't you have a light?
Oh, yeah.
Won't you sit down?
Oh, yeah.
You're taking Helen out this evening.
Yep.
Yeah, she's a cute kid. Don't you think so?
Oh, you bet.
Have you set the date yet?
No.
Oh. Are you going to a cabaret?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it must be pretty hot dancing this weather.
Oh, fierce.
Do you like these cigarettes?
Oh, great.
What's your smoke?
Camels.
Be glad to send you some of mine if you'll accept them.
Oh, fine. Gee.
Have you been following the international situation lately?
No.
How about some lemonade, eh?
Say, that's an inspiration.
Oh, gee, I forgot the glass.
Wait a minute, Frank. I'll get them.
No, I'll
Excuse
get them.
me. Oh, no, you won't. I'll get them. You fuck.
but Bill,
Just a minute, old boy. You stay there.
Say, that husband of Joan's a regular guy, eh?
You bet he is.
Me and him just had a wonderful talk.
Yeah?
Sure, we had a long conversation. We sat here, him and me, and you'd have thought, why...
Hello, Tom.
Hello, kid. You'd have thought we went to school together.
Well, what'd you talk about?
We talked about cabarets and dancing and the internal situation. Say, have you seen that new truck of mine?
No.
Oh, it rides like a Rolls Royce. And I can haul a whole ton more than I did on the other one. You ought to see me pass up the boys on the road, and I get into the garage almost a whole hour before them at night. Oh, boy.
Tom, are you coming with me or are you spending the weekend?
Oh, yeah,
Come on.
sure.
Well, good night, kid.
Good
Have a
night,
good
Tom.
time.
We will.
Here, I'll help you. Good night, folks. Don't keep her out too late.
Good night, Frank. Yeah. Oh, good night, Mr. Van Luyn.
Good night.
Oh,
Good night.
Good night, Frank. Good night, Mr.
Oh, Tom, come on.
Good night. Mother, Joan, there's some lemonade here.
We'll be right in.
I tell you, there's nothing like lemonade, eh?
Wasn't that right? It's certainly right.
Lemonade.
There you are, dear.
Thank you.
Lemonade.
Yes, for you.
Oh, did you make that?
Lemonade,
Dad?
Dad?
Oh, lemonade.
Sweet enough.
Perfect.
Isn't that fine?
Pretty good,
Certainly
huh?
freshens you up when it's hot, doesn't it? Gee, that's good. Fine. Folks, I want you all to sit down. I've got something I want to say to you. Well, come on, make yourselves comfortable.
What is it, Dave?
Now, don't you worry. It's a nice little surprise, darling. Come on, sit over there on the couch. Go ahead, Frank. Well, now then. I know where there's a corking apartment on Riverside Drive with 12 rooms and 4 baths. Mother, I want you to go and take a look at it tomorrow, and if you like it, phone to me and I'll attend to the details.
No, Will. I'm afraid that wouldn't work.
Why not, Dad?
Well, rents are something terrible on Riverside. Oh, I know. That doesn't amount to so much with you. But we can't afford anything like that.
Well, if you'll furnish the family, Dad, I'll furnish the flat.
Oh, that, eh?
What?
Charity.
Why, confound you, Henry. Is it necessary to twist everything?
There's no twisting about it. It's charity and nothing else.
Now, listen, you're off to South America tomorrow, so why concern yourself with the rest of us?
The rest are too careful of your feelings to hand it to you straight.
Oh, now, won't somebody muzzle him so we can get on with our plans?
Our plans are all
Now,
set.
listen, I'll tell you what we'll do. Suppose we take a vote on it. How's that?
All right.
Dad, you're willing to move, aren't you?
Willing? Lord, yes. But I've had to work hard all my life. And I've never had to thank anybody for anything. And I don't want to begin now. Oh, I'm sorry, Will.
Mother, won't you?
Oh, of course, I would enjoy Riverside Drive, Will. But I think I'd rather do whatever Father thinks best.
Frank, certainly you'd like to get
dear,
out of this.
Please, please, dear. I know how kindly you meant it all, but Henry is right.
Yes.
But, darling, I only wanted
Say, are you the tropical exports company that offered me this job to go to South America?
No.
But you know the people who own it, I'll bet.
Yes?
Did you have anything to do with their offering me this job?
Well, is that such a crime?
So it was you. You framed the whole thing to get me out of the way. Well, I'm not going, see?
Henry.
What? Well, you're a wonder, Henry, but have it your own way.
It's not my way, it's a fashion case that I object to. What was the big idea, anyway?
Well, nothing at
Trying
all.
to tie a can to me so you could handle the rest of the family and ram your charity down their throats.
Oh, no.
Trying to export me to South America.
Oh, quit it, Henry. We've had enough of
You
that.
can't muzzle me.
I'm not trying
You
to
think your
muzzle
15 million gives you the right to move other people around like chessmen. Well, we're not that kind of people. You can't do that sort of thing to us.
Henry, you'd better subside. Will looks tired. He may want to go to bed.
Dad, you're the most intelligent man in the world.
The point I want to make is this.
shut
We're
up,
not
Henry.
objects
Now,
of charity.
so wait a
We're not
minute.
going to be treated like
Come
that.
on, the bear.
$15 million, we're not going to be patronized by it.
I'm so sorry, Will.
Don't you worry about me, Mother. I'm having a perfectly wonderful time.
What?
Really.
Good night, dear.
Good night, Mother, dear. Say, Mother,
Yes, dear?
do you like flowers?
Oh, I would have had some here for Joan if I had known.
Well, now listen. You wouldn't think that I was grinding the faces of the middle class, would you? If I had some sent up here?
You mustn't mind Henry. He just reads and talks.
I don't mind him, if you don't. Oh, Mother. Now, don't think I'm trying to corrupt you.
Oh.
But how would you like a house in the country with a garden?
Oh, Phil always wanted a garden. Why, he used to clutter up the dining room with those old seed catalogs.
A nice garden, Mother. And somebody in the house to give these busy hands a rest.
Oh, Will.
You know, if Henry's speeches were half as eloquent as these busy hands of yours...
It's so hard to make them look like anything.
Oh, of course it is.
What I want to know is, dear, are you and Joan happy?
Happy? Why, Mother, I love Joan better than anything in the whole world.
Do you, Will?
Oh, you bet I do.
I'm so glad. Good night, dear.
Good night, Mother.
Will, dear, will you bring the other bags in, please?
Oh, yes, dear.
It's hot in here, isn't it, dear?
Why, it's hot everywhere tonight.
But it seems to me that it's hotter in here than it is anyplace else. Darling, what'll I do with these?
Oh, we'll find a place for them in the morning.
Oh. And the trunks, darling. Your two and my two. What do you do with trunks here?
After they're unpacked, we put them in the cellar.
Oh. Darling, when the trunks are in the cellar, what do you do with the stuff? This closet isn't more than a foot deep.
I'll look after that.
No.
Ouch.
Oh, Will, did you hurt
Gee
yourself?
whiz.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
No,
Here, let me
it's
see.
all right, dear. It's
Oh.
all right. I like it.
Well, we'll go to a hotel if you like.
Oh, no, we won't, sweetheart. We'll stick it out your way. I'll get a shower at the club every noon, and no doubt Henry is right. There's a whole lot I've got to learn about regular people like you, and this is my chance. Pardon me, dear.
Will, what are you going to do with that?
Well, there's no more air in this room than your lungs require, darling. Now, I'm not going to be a swine and use it all up.
Oh, but dear.
And besides, it's much cooler in the other room.
Oh, but Will.
Good night, dear.
Don't you think that... But dear, don't... Oh.
Ouch! Gee whiz. Good night, darling. Ouch.
Sweetheart.
Oh, hello, dear.
Oh, Will, you can't sleep like this.
Oh, yes, I can. You just watch me. It'll be just like camping again, darling.
Oh, but you be comfortable.
No, it's all right, darling. You scoot along to bed. Scoot along to bed, honey.
But-
Nighty-night.
Good night.
Good night, dear.
Good night.
What? Oh, good night, dear.
Good night.
print.
Yes, I know. But it'll scrape off.
I hoped you'd watch them, dear.
Oh, dear. What a useless thing I am these days.
There, dear. You're just nervous. Why don't you go to Will and admit that you were foolish to bring him here?
Well, I have told him. Mother, I don't know what's come over him these last 2 weeks. He talks about there being greater things than personal comfort. He says he enjoys it here.
Goodness. Well, he's away all day, and at night he just sits and talks to Father and Henry.
Yes, I know. He won't let me work in his office anymore, and I never see him in the daytime. He insists that my room isn't big enough for two, so I don't see him at night.
Oh. Will you carry them in, dear?
Yes.
Oh, good morning, daughter.
Good morning, Dad.
No thanks.
Oh, Dad, Joan, look.
Why, Helen. Why, where in the world is...
And that's not all.
What?
Why, they're diamonds.
Well, sure, they're diamonds. You don't think Billy gives people phony jewelry for their birthday, do you?
Billy?
Your birthday?
But your birthday happened while they were on their wedding trip.
Mm-hmm. But when I mentioned it, he made good.
When you mentioned it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, Joan, Billy still looks on me as a kid. Oh, Joan. You don't care if Bill gave them to me, do you?
Why, Helen, I'm not thinking anything so foolish. It's just a matter of taste, that's all.
Oh, well, Bill knows I hadn't any taste. I can't use it in my life. He just wanted to make me happy, you see?
That isn't the
Well, good morning, folks. I've got to hurry.
Come
Come on, dear.
Dear, you're late. I'm
Terribly.
Oh, Billy boy, you've made me the happiest girl in the world.
I'm glad, dear.
I'll get your coffee, dear.
Thank you,
You see
darling.
that stone at the top?
Helen.
Yeah.
Will you help me in the kitchen, please?
Oh, isn't life vulgar?
Go on and help your sister, kid. Well, Dad, how are you this morning?
Oh, so-so.
I want to see this Van Luyn guy, and I want to see him right away.
Well, what's the idea?
Just you call him and you'll find out.
Well, what's it? Any news in the paper this morning?
No, nothing
Yeah?
worthwhile.
Thank you, Helen. A little cream, Dad.
Hey, Bill. Tom Gibbon is in there. He wants to talk to you.
My truck driving Romeo?
Yes. He's as mad as a hatter and insists on seeing you.
Oh,
Oh. Well, maybe I better see him in the parlor. Will you excuse me, Dad? I'll be right back.
At this hour? Wonder what Tom wants.
I don't know. But he gets on my nerves lately anyway. All he can talk about is motor trucks and spark plugs.
Really?
Well, good morning, Mr. Gibney. You wanted to see me?
Yeah. I want to learn you something you need to know.
That's so? Well, what's that?
I want to learn you what it means for a rich egg like you to start and giving diamond jewelry to an honest girl like Helen.
Oh, Well, I admit I might have asked your permission before giving my wife's sister a few birthday presents, but I just didn't happen to think about it.
Well, Helen's going to marry me, see? Me, a decent young fellow. And you, what you're a low down.
Wait a minute, old boy. We'll cut out the abuse.
Well, you know what you're going to get, don't you?
No, let's hear about
You're
it.
going to get your $1 million block knocked off.
Has to be settled with fists, eh?
You bet it does.
Well, this is hardly the place.
Huh. I suppose you want trading quarters in the valley.
Not at all. I'll go out in the hall or down in the street with you, but not here in my wife's home.
Oh, is that...
Hey, Tom, you fool.
Look out, Henry.
Now, here's where you get yours.
All right, let's have it.
Oh.
Are you hurt, Tom? Just the wind knocked out. Where'd I rub it? Feel better.
He's all right, Frank. Just got his wind knocked out.
Oh, all right.
Say, Bill, that's some wallet.
I can't imagine what's keeping Will. If he doesn't come in pretty soon, he won't have time to hide it.
Oh, what did Tom want?
He got what he wanted, dear.
Here's your coffee.
Thanks.
Sit down, Will.
I haven't time, darling.
Well, I know, but what did
Oh, but
Tom
you can't go without your breakfast.
Darling, I'm terribly late and I've got to rush. And I wonder if you'll sign that sometime during the day.
Well, what is it?
Well, you'll see when you look at it.
Well, I know, but what did Tom
Morning,
say
Mom.
he wanted, Will?
Oh, Henry, all of you. I know that you'll be interested to learn that I'm making arrangements to give all my money away.
Huh?
What?
Yes. You see, my plan is to endow a hospital. It will cost $5 million. The balance of my fortune will go to start a foundation for the benefit of the great middle class.
The great
Middle
class.
Yes.
Will, now wait just...
Darling, I have to fly.
Will, hey.
Goodbye, dear.
But Will,
I'll see you.
dear,
I'm terribly sorry. I'll see you all tonight. Goodbye, boys.
Bill, hey, Bill! Well, I guess I had something to do with it. It's a big thing. It'll immortalize him. And think what it means to the great middle class.
Henry, don't say those 3 words again. I'm sick of them.
Bessie, so am I.
Well, call it the White Collar Brigade.
Oh,
I don't
for
care what
heaven's
you...
sake, Henry, keep quiet. You've done enough damage already.
I'll say, and how?
Mother.
What?
Dad. I've got to find Will. I can't let him go through with this. He'll be ruining himself. He's just ruining himself.
Oh, Joan,
Well, fine work you've done this time, Henry.
I don't know what Will's
Well, no.
thinking of.
My
You don't
15
think
million
I
in
really
free
want
time.
to
Take
What are you
Bill so
supposed to
seriously.
really
Why,
mean?
he doesn't mean it.
But he does mean it. The only real money that ever did get into this family, or ever will get into it, now he's going to give it away to a lot of grafters. That poor simp did it.
Helen, what sort of language is that?
Well, it's the only kind he can understand.
Helen.
Oh, forget that stuff, Helen. Half the time I was only kidding.
Yeah, you would. We get $15 million in this family, and he has to get it.
Well, it's not my fault if they let those easy ones loose.
Henry, what sort of language
Well,
is
how
that?
did I know he'd take it seriously? We had to talk about something after he came here.
Yeah, but what about the rest of it? Doesn't it mean anything to us?
Well, that's not the point, Helen. We are not asking anything of him. What worries me is Joan. I've always hoped for big things for her. She's worked so hard.
Oh, I did hope Joan was going to get away from dishes and cooking and have a beautiful home and the kind of clothes she can wear.
Well, we all
And chauffeurs and butlers and diamonds and furs and parties and traveling and the opera and millions of books she's been crazy for. And now it's all off because Henry had to go shoot off his mouth.
Say, now, Helen, you lay off that
I'll
sudden
not
stuff
lay
you're
off
yapping.
anything.
I'm sick and tired of it.
Start fighting.
Lay off of me, will you? It's none of your business. Well, I didn't do any more than anybody else. He's done up. Will you shut it down?
Good.
It's bad enough without all this jawing and yowling. What I'm getting at is this. You've ruined Joan's future.
What? Oh, that makes me tired.
Oh, does it? Well, I'm not going to have my daughter reduced to poverty just because my brother had a jackass for a son.
Now, you leave my father out of this. He's dead.
I knew your father better than you ever did, Henry.
Then you want to cut out that kind of stuff?
What?
Don't you speak to your Uncle Phil like that.
Then let him lay off that stuff about my father.
Young man, if you ever speak to me like that again, I'll kick you out and give you the worst thrashing you ever had in your life.
All right, let's go home now. Well, what? I don't see why everybody has to pick on me.
We're not picking on you, Hank. It's just that you shouldn't talk that way.
I think it's the rotten break for all of us. That's what I mean. Helen, sweetheart, don't cry, baby. Don't cry. Don't cry. Oh, I can't bear it. I just can't. Joan and Mrs. Williams, they're alive. And even if they don't have a dollar, she'll be somebody. This was my chance, and now it's gone.
Oh, no, Helen, please.
Well, I don't care. It was my chance. I'm not Joan. I'm not a lady. I'm just a chicken kidding myself and having a good time. Trying to be attractive and full of pep.
Don't call yourself a chicken.
Oh, don't make me laugh. I know my number. $18 a week is a plump typist. That's my limit. That's a chicken's limit. Civilian, middle-class babies. We get a fat chance we have. Who wants me?
Oh, don't, Helen, don't, dear. Joan always told
Joan.
you.
But she knows about it. Let her come down and work on my job for 2 years. 40 girls in one room, banging away on those rotten machines. Come down to the office. You'll hear them all talk as I talk. Work down there a while and see where your refinement will be then. When I tried to make the most of Billy being here, you all thought I was trying to vamp him.
No, I didn't, Helen.
No, I didn't think anything of the kind, Helen.
You did, Frank, and you did, Henry. I wanted to see I was pretty and cute and alive. And maybe he'd think I ought to have a chance. But now, who wants me?
Oh, don't, Helen, dear. Joan always tried to help you with good books.
Books. Just try a day in that boiler factory, and then see if your nerves will stand a highbrow book. When we get out, we've got to go. Get somewhere and hear jazz and dance and kids. Anything so as not to think or look ahead.
Oh, Helen.
Joan sat in her nice, quiet office and talked to her swell boss that was crazy about her. Well, who's crazy about me? Who wants me? Nobody but a big low barrel like Tom Gibney. He thinks he's making me happy with the movies and vaudeville and the prospect of raising a bunch of kids in a near slum.
Oh, Helen, darling, don't, dear. You're just breaking Mother's heart, dear. I wish you...
Daddy understands.
Don't.
If I'd have known how hard my ideas were hitting, I'd have soft-pedaled on a lot of them.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll try and switch them off of this bug.
Don't kid yourself. What Bill starts, he finishes. Hey, all of you, look at the time. Gee, I'm late.
I've forgotten the time. Dear me, I'm 20 minutes
Oh,
late.
Helen, dear, you can't go to work looking like that.
Oh, yes, I can. I could have to now a song and dance about my mother being a death door.
Oh, it's the first time in 18 years that Phil has been late for business.
Well, gee whiz. Six o'clock. They must be having a session for Joan to stay away all day like this. Hello, Frank.
Oh, Joan home?
Not yet.
And Will?
No.
How are you, Frank?
Oh, I'm all right, Mom.
You look tired, dear.
Thanks.
Were you very late this morning?
A little.
Oh, dear. I'm late with my dinner. I can't keep my mind on my work at all today.
I'll help you, Aunt Alice.
Has Will come?
Not yet. Didn't you find him?
I wasn't able to get hold of him. Even the office doesn't know where he is today. Well, between us, Henry and I have just about undone the work of 6 generations of Van Luyn.
I guess you have, Joan. Oh, don't worry, sis. It's all right. Everything will turn out for the best. Listen, Joan. I'm going out to earn some real money. I'm sick of being one of these respectable but poor white collars. Those overall guys give us the laugh. They've got the right idea. They don't want to be gentlemen with white collars. They say, be a man, do a man's work, get a man's pay. Me for that. I'm going to learn a trade.
Trade?
Bricklaying.
Bricklaying?
Yeah, sure. Why, bricklayers earn more in a day than I do in a week. Of course, I didn't have the nerve to do it as Bill Van Luyn's brother-in-law. But now that Bill's putting the skids under himself, I'm going through with it.
Oh, but he mustn't. He mustn't. We mustn't let him.
Oh, Aunt Alice, Joan's here. Any news?
No, I couldn't find it. Oh, I'm afraid of what he's done. I'm afraid. That paper he wanted me to sign was for the sale of some of his property in the country. He's turning everything he owns into cash to give away.
There, dear, you mustn't. Everything is for the best.
Yes.
Oh, buck up, Joe. If Bill will only listen to me.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Henry, we all did listen to you. That's what's the matter. Oh, why did I bring him here with the heat and no shower and radio and that horrible phonograph downstairs? Oh, it's all my fault.
No, dear. No, it isn't, dear.
Why, Dad.
Gee, Uncle Phil. Aunt Alice.
Phil. Why? Phil, what's you, dear?
How tired you look.
Dad, dear.
Yes.
You're
Yes,
so
dear.
pale.
Oh,
What's
I'm
the
all
matter?
right.
Dad, sit down. Oh, dear.
Phil.
Why, Dad.
Phil, dear. You don't look yourself. Phil.
I've lost my job.
Gee.
Lost your job.
Think of it. After all these years.
Oh, but Dad, what was it? Why, you worked for Hanky for...
Hanky thinks they need new blood.
Phil, I can't understand it.
I'll be 55 years old next month, and I've got no job.
Don't, Phil.
Don't weep over that job, Dad. You're due for a good rest, and we'll see that you get it.
I've been with that firm for 30 years.
Oh, now, don't you worry, Uncle Phil. I'll get a job to feed a boiler if I can't find anything in my own line.
Even the morning of the blizzard, I was there. Myself and old man Hanky. That was all.
Oh, never mind, dear. You need a rest.
Oh, never mind, Dad. My job's safe. You hear that? Now, you just take yourself a swell vacation with the movies and everything. And we'll all, yeah.
Sure, Dad. A little rest will do you good.
Rest? Well, I'm not an old man. 55, why, that's not an old man.
Oh, that must be Will.
We'd better beat it.
Well, hello, everybody. Yeah, finished dinner, Mother?
Oh, no, it isn't ready yet. We're just going back now.
Oh. Oh, there you are, sweetheart. Well, Dad. Joan.
Oh, Will, I thought you'd never come.
Why, Joan, dear, what's the matter? You look as though you had something on your mind.
Dear, what is it you're doing? You must listen to me. You must.
There, darling. Now, don't get so excited. Come on over here and sit down. You know, Joan, I'm starting out to have the time of my life.
Will, you're
Listen,
not...
honey, I'm going to have a hospital for the great middle class, where people of limited means can get the finest medical and surgical attention at cost.
But, dear...
Oh, no charity, mind you. I've worked that all out.
You mean Henry worked it all out?
Well, maybe, but it's a grand idea.
Oh, but dear, you can't do it. You mustn't.
I can't.
No.
Just you watch me, darling. I may be only one man, but I'll show that great mass of white collars that there is a way.
Oh, but dear, I don't...
Joan, dear, what did you do with that bill of sale I gave you to sign this morning? Is it in here, dear? Is it, Joan?
Joan, Will, please. I can't sign it. I can't.
Joan, dear, I want you to sign this paper, dear.
Will, I'm not going to let you give that wonderful tract away.
You're not going to let me. Sign here, dear, please.
Oh, Will, please, dear. Don't think it's because I want your money.
Well, then why the deuce are you going back on your principles? Will you sign this
Will,
paper?
Please,
Here.
please, Will. Listen, you mustn't weaken your power. So few men of good like you will know how to use their power. Oh, keep your money, darling. No one will even thank you for giving it away.
Joan, are you going to do as I ask you and sign this paper? Here, dear, please, I want this paper.
Mother, Dad, please. Don't
Joan,
you
you're holding up this whole
understand what you're doing?
proposition.
Don't you see?
Yes, but
Mother,
I'm...
will you talk to him, please? He's wrecking his life. He's just wrecking it.
Will, if you only knew what it means to be poor, as Father and I do, you'd do what good you could with your money and be satisfied.
I know, Mother, dear, but you don't understand.
Yes.
Joan,
Dad,
I
will
want you to...
talk to him. Please make him listen to reason.
But...
Will, money comes so hard. You ought to consider carefully before you give it away.
I have considered, Dad. Joan, I want you
Bill.
to sign this because...
Bill, you're wrong to go to such extremes. Now, you keep your money. I was only shooting off my mouth.
Well, I don't quite know what to make of all you people.
Oh, look here, Bill. You stick to your coin.
Then it was all bunk then? All this talk?
Oh, talk is cheap with us. It's about the only thing that doesn't cost anything.
But Frank, with all...
Bill, look at Uncle Phil.
Oh.
He's all in.
What's the matter, Dad?
I had a little fuss at the office this morning.
A little fuss?
Oh, nothing much.
Well,
Bill, that old fool Hankey's fired him. Well, it's killing him. Oh, Bill, you got the pull. Can't you go down and tell Hankey to take him back? He'll listen to you.
No, Will. You've plenty to do with your own affairs.
Bill, can't you see what it's done to him? I'd give my right arm, but I'm helpless. Oh, Bill, old man, wake up. This is something real. You gone nutty on giving your coin away.
Well, coming from you, Henry, this is good.
Well, I'm no good. All I can do is talk. Talk. Because I'm sore. To keep myself from thinking what a rotten failure I am.
Oh, Henry.
Oh, you're right. We're all failures. Now Will's going to be a failure, too.
Joan, I want you to sign this paper. Come. Please.
Will.
no, Bill.
There, dear.
Right? There. I've signed it. I'll sign anything. I'll help you to sink down to our level. Oh, we've ruined the most glorious man that ever lived. Why don't you go away and forget that you ever saw us? Oh,
Oh, no, dear, don't. Sweetheart, don't, dear. It will all turn out for the best.
Daughter, it isn't like you to give way like this.
Well, my pride's all gone. What's left to be proud of is his money, his power, all gone. And it's all my fault. All because of my silly pride.
Oh, no, dear. No, it isn't your fault, dear. It isn't,
Mother.
sweetheart.
Mother, dear. Just a minute. It's all right. Let me speak to Joan. There, darling. It's all right. It's all right, dear. Don't do this. Don't do this, darling. Come on now. It's all right.
You ought to get a divorce. You really ought.
No, darling. It's all right. Joan, listen. Be quiet just a minute, will you? Be quiet and listen to what I have to say, darling. You know what you said a minute ago is right. A man who throws his power away is a fool. And if giving away every dollar I have in the world would change conditions, why, I'd shove my pile in a minute. But it won't.
What?
No. You know, the jolly old middle class is the most class-conscious lot in the world. But it'll have to work out its own problem.
What?
My hands are full with the Thayer end of it.
Attaboy! You mean you're not giving your money away?
No.
Oh,
gee.
I'm simply making a deal. That bill of sale I had you sign, darling, was in exchange for a place in Westchester where we're all going to have a whale of a home.
Bill, what about that $5 million hospital?
Nothing to it, Henry. But I've got something started with some friends of mine to build $1 million one, and I'm contributing towards it.
And that full foundation for the great middle class?
Oh,
Great.
but dear, I don't understand.
I know you don't, darling. So I'll tell you. When you and Henry here began your course on how to be miserable though happy, I realized something radical had to be done, and I did it.
Yeah, I'll say you did.
Well, Joan, I'll tell you all about
Say,
it. when I
Bill.
get it.
Bill, is it too late for that South American thing?
You want it?
Do I? And I'll make good.
Bully.
Bully for you.
Bully. And now, I propose that we all accept the fact that either I'm a Thayer or you're all Van Lymes. Is it agreed?
Yeah, we're all Van Lyne.
Dad, I want you to take what's in this envelope, get the family into an automobile, and take them out to the coolest place you can find to dine where the music is better than that rotten phonograph. Come on now, Dad, be a good sport. That's it. Sure. And, Mother, tomorrow a shopping tour and then Atlantic City for a rest, eh?
Oh, Will.
Oh, and Mother, there's a bungalow on that Westchester place that's in your name, where you'll have all the flowers that you want.
Oh, Will.
Oh, bless your heart, Mother. Dad, after your vacation, I want you to help run the new hospital.
Hospital? But Will, I don't
Oh,
know
you
anything
betcha.
about
We're all going to work our heads off, Dad. But we're going to have some fun out of it, eh? You bet. And Frank, I've got something nice lined up for you.
I'm fixed.
Well, how's that?
Well, I'd like to learn bricklaying if you'll stand for it.
Go to it, old boy. Hope you make good.
Well, what about you and I? What are we going to do?
Darling, you get your hat on. We're going out to dinner. Tomorrow, we'll be off on the yacht, and I'm going to finish our honeymoon if it takes all summer. You get your hat, darling. I'll speak to Helen. Go ahead. Helen, come here to your big brother a minute. How would you like to go to Atlantic City with Mother and Dad for a vacation, huh?
Oh, yeah?
And then in the fall, maybe a finishing school.
Oh, you mean one of those schools where the young ladies go riding every morning with the groom in the park on a horse with pants on? Yeah.
That's the place you want to go?
Oh, I shall go.
It's all set, kid. Get ready. All right, let's go.
Well, we don't know what to say.
Well, I'll say you're the hottest family to kick upstairs I've ever seen in my life.
Are we downhearted?
No, right out, boy. You let's go. Have a good time. Bye-bye. You have to get a place. Bye-bye, everybody.
See what you
Boy! Oh, boy!
There's a lot of it.
Boy! Oh,
Would you like to go to